Welcome back. Well, for you, welcome back. For me, it's been 5 minutes, so just gonna start working on this video while the other one uploads. Okay, so we can take a look at the Malkavian tree, but before that, I think we need an actual dummy, target dummy fight. So let's just add this one real quick. And I think I had a troop set up, punching bag, so we're gonna have to kill everything at once, and we can actually see what some of the stuff does. So yeah, we gotta we're gonna go ahead and take a look at our Malkavian trees real quick. Let me just start the game, make sure everything is. Oh, we can actually go full screen, which we didn't go to do last time. Just make sure that the audio is correct because sometimes it gets a little crazy during combat. Let's just drop that down a little bit. Okay, let's go full screen and yeah, let's talk about our Malkavian trees, right? Do do do. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, some of these trees are going to repeat, but there's going to be differences. For example, you see the Dominate tree. She also has access to amalgams for dementation, right? One of them which is dementation at the end of the tree, and then another one which is mental maze. We'll take a look at those in a bit. Let's talk about the trees first. She has access. Nicole, as a Malkavian, has access to 3 trees: Dominate, Obfuscate, which allows you to cloak people and objects, and Auspex, which aims to understand and pierce the veils of reality. Sounds really, really, really intricate in concept. In practice, it's a healing tree. That's that's basically what it is. Uh, yeah, it has a lot of healing skills in there, and then a damage skill at the end to have your healers be able to do damage. So Dominate. We can just go through these really quick because we covered them in the last video, so all of this is pretty much the same. Remember that she also learns Honed Mind when she gets her first point in the Dominate tree, which we can actually see here. Mhm. She's immune to Dominate abilities. Okay, so let's see. The new ones for Dominate. Pretty simple. We got Mental Maze. This is a skill very similar to Chain Lightning from other games. It deals supernatural damage to 3 enemies, decreasing each jump, and it has a chance to inflict confuse. So it's gonna hit 3 times for moderate damage. Actually, the on my last playtest, the damage was way too crazy, so I had to tone it down. It was cool and it was fun, but it was absolutely ridiculous. So we toned that down. It's gonna jump 3 times and do less damage each time it jumps, with a chance to apply confuse. If you remember in my last video, I talked about mass manipulation for Alec and how this could play into another skill. So mass manipulation is going to confuse targets in an area, and then this one, dementation. It's going to deal supernatural damage in an area with additional damage if the targets are afflicted with confused. If they're not afflicted with confused, it's going to afflict them with confuse. So the way this makes sense lore-wise, it's you're confused, you get hit with dementation, you go crazy, and you explode for lots of damage. In this case, it's going to be a critical hit. And if you're not, already confused, then dementation confuses you. So, you set up for your next dementation. I don't remember if it has a cooldown, actually, but we should be able to test it here shortly. Okay. Come to my favorite tree of probably the whole game besides no, I think this is my favorite tree. Cloak of Shadows, very easy skill to understand. It's going to have Nicole start in stealth. What does stealth do? Well, it basically makes you untargetable. And once you're untargetable, you are going to have an attack buff, which means your next attack is going to take you out of stealth, but it's also going to do double damage. So it's it's pretty fun to have her start out, in stealth and then just like completely stomp an enemy on her first turn. So that's kind of cool. Unseen Passage, just the baseline passive gives you 15% additional evasion rate. This is pretty much the only way she can tank, and as you can see, she doesn't do it very well. But yeah, I mean the option is there if you want to buff her up with equipment and you spend your points on like defensive stats. Yeah, it can be done. This is my favorite skill. It took me a lot to implement, actually, but we did it. It's functional. I don't think it breaks anything. That's pretty cool. It uses all stats because it's a random skill. It's gonna pull a random skill from a pool of skills, and each one of those scales differently. Some of them scale off physical stats, defense, aggravated defense, etc. So if you get lucky, like let's say for example she has an aggravated attack buff, and then she gets lucky and she gets the aggravated attack skill, she's gonna do a lot of damage. And yeah, you're gonna see this in combat. It's instant also, which lets you do this and then do something else in your turn. So this is pretty cool. I think you're gonna like it. So we get that. We get Vanish, which after we start in stealth, this allows us to re-enter stealth uh, with a pretty short cooldown. So if you're the kind of guy that wants to waste a turn to get buffed and then next turn just unleash everything, this is going to be the treat for you. And then we end up with two at the end, two little cliff notes. The first one is Cloak the Gathering, which is Vanish. You cloak yourself. Cloak the Gathering. You can cloak other people in your party. So let's say your tank's getting clobbered, and you want to kind of like take a breather. Sorry if my bird is making noise. He just woke up. Yeah, I hate him sometimes. Your tank is getting clobbered, or your front line's getting clobbered. You cast this on them, they're not going to be able to be targeted. You heal them up, or well, you can't heal them up, but they can heal themselves up, I guess. And then yeah, they get an attack buff, etc., and everything's good in the world, right? And then this one is basically an upgrade to Mask of a Thousand Faces. So it's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna fish for a random skill with a chance to play a more powerful skill. What's the difference? Well, this one is going to transform you into humans or mortals that you have found or haven't found. Remember that Malkavians are all about piercing the veil and seeing things that they shouldn't see or knowing things that they shouldn't know. So, you're going to see some people here that maybe you haven't met. So that's kind of the flavor of the ability. And then with this one, you're going to do the same, but you're going to summon vampire or you're going to transform into vampires instead of random people. The way they do it in the rules, like in the official fifth edition rules, is Mask of a Thousand Faces allows you to transform into like a generic person, and then Imposter's Guise allows you to transform into like a specific person. So that's kind of what I tried to do there. Yep. Okay. All specs. As I said, this is a healing tree. Kinda. It's healing, and it gives you also a pretty nice buff on the first point to guns. So and some I think she has one actually. She has a skill that uses guns in Auspex, so pretty cool. Heightened Senses, 30% additional finesse. Finesse increases your damage with guns. Every gun in the game is calculated taking into account half your aggravated attack, so where we could consider your magic attack, and half your finesse, so half and half. If you max out those stats, you're going to be doing a lot of damage with guns. Premonition. It heals an ally or damages an enemy for a moderate amount after a short delay. Also, you might be wondering what these initials mean. They are color coded in the game to give more clarity. Just the tree doesn't show them correctly, so I had to leave them, in white. But they will have colors in the game. We can see that in a second. And it tells you what stat the skill benefits from. So you're not blindly, stacking stats to see like what works and what doesn't. You're just, you're able to see, okay, this scales off aggravated defense. So if I want to be a good healer, or if I want to do a lot of damage with Premonition Enemy, I can max aggravated defense, right? This is very simple. It puts an effect on an enemy or an ally, and when that effect expires, it's going to heal them or it's going to damage them. And it's instant speed, so you can do a premonition and then do something else with your turn. All right. Share the senses. Think of it like Spirit Link from World of Warcraft. It's gonna even out and redistribute the host party's HP, and after it does that, it's going to heal for 15%. So if you're in a tight spot, one of your guys is dying, you even out everybody's HP, and it's gonna heal on top of that to help you out a little bit, right? Spirit's Touch, just a stat buff to let you heal better. 30% additional aggravated defense. Lets you heal better and lets you tank aggravated damage better. This one's a little more interesting. Conceal is a two-phase skill. It scales off attack and finesse because it scales off guns. So, conceals the user's weapon and allows the user to conceal fire. Requires bow or assault rifle equipped. Swaps persist through battle. So, the first time you use it, you're going to cloak your weapon from sight. And then the second time you use it, you're going to unleash your weapon for what I think is, sufficient damage. And I also think it does damage in a line. We'll see about that. So, uh, again, if you're, the kind of guy that likes, let's say you wanna, you set up your conceal so it's ready to fire. Again, this persists through battle, so you can do like a crappy battle, set up conceal, and then the next battle, which is the boss battle, you unload it. So you got your conceal ready, and you have your Cloak of Shadow, so you're gonna start in stealth early. So the first turn, you can basically unleash everything and do a lot of damage. As my boy Dustin Browder would say, terrible, terrible damage. Right. And then we got Telepathy, which is it's the only caster skill besides Premonition Enemy that scales off aggravated defense. So it's the only skill that allows healers to do good damage. It deals supernatural damage to a single enemy and inflicts Foresight. Foresight allows you to crit the enemy for the duration of Foresight. So if you see an enemy with this effect on, you want to, auto attack or shoot that enemy, and because you're going to be able to crit them. And it's only a one turn window, so you gotta try to take advantage of that. All right, and that is it. I think we can go into combat and see how some of these work. So again, as before, I'm not going to showcase all of them. I'm just gonna show the ones that I think are not that self-explanatory. Right? You can just ignore the you can ignore the graphics for now. Obviously, these are not going to be in the game. I've actually thought I had fixed this. I guess I didn't. Okay, let's just restrain on everyone else. Ignore the big boy right in front of us. Okay, so let's start with Premonition Enemy. Again, instant speed. So we're gonna do one on this girl. And if we mouse over, you can see it says Dark Omen. User will be damaged after a short delay. So when she takes her action, she's gonna be damaged, right? And then the same turn, we can do Premonition Ally. So let's say, we heal Joe, which is feeling a little low. We do that, and it's gonna heal her, right? And then after that, well, all the dominate abilities are self-explanatory, so we can focus on all specs. Okay, so let's finish up. Again, Imposters, guys, is also instant, so let's just do that one on the boss. Okay, so we're gonna transform into someone else, and we're gonna do some damage. And then, again, it's instant, so we can still do something. We'll just auto-attack him. Boom. Right? And since this is a test battle, you couldn't see stealth into action, but any other battle that you start in the game, you're going to start in stealth. Okay, so let's just, again, restrain all of these guys so they don't do anything. Restrain, enemies are going to attack, but they do like that. And as you see, she got damaged by Premonition Enemy. Okay, Joe's turn, she has Restrain. Okay, and she got healed because her premonition ran out. Let me see. No, I don't have it. Okay, she's gonna restrain here, so we get some mana back. Just restrain everything. She's about to get another turn, so don't worry. Okay. So then, what else? Telepathy. I think it's self-explanatory. You deal supernatural damage, and it's gonna inflict Foresight. You can see that in game. Not a lot to talk about there. Let's talk about the dementation ones. I think those could be cool. So, as manipulation is going to confuse them, let's start with Mental Maze. Mental Maze has a chance to confuse, so let's see if we can get something done there. You see pretty good damage. Actually killed that girl. And we did get the boss confused with the punchback, so you can see how dementation works. So he's confused, he hurts himself. Right. Let's just continue here. we're gonna have to restrain again. I really should have set up some items here, so we could just like use a blood pack and get our mana back. But yeah, we got enough for competition. Okay, just restrain. I think we have enough time before his stuff runs out. Okay. Come on, you fat fuck. Alright. Done. And onion rings. Okay. So we're gonna... Again, he has Confuse on him. Let's do Meditation, right? And this should crit. Okay, and there it goes. And if it doesn't crit, then, or if there's no Confuse on the target, it's going to add Confuse. Actually, I think it refreshed Confuse. I'm not sure if that's intended. We'll have to take a look later. Alright, and then we can finish with Conceal. So let's just Restrain. Get some mana back on her. And Restrain is supposed to help you out in the early game, like the first section of the game, and then after that it becomes a little bit useless because you have more gold, and the way you want to be recovering your blood is just blood packs. Because blood packs, they cost money, but they don't take a turn, at least not in the current iteration. So you can use your blood pack, get your blood back, and then do something else, which is not something you can do here. All right, let's finish up with Conceal here. So we're gonna Conceal, and that's going to cloak our gun. And then the next turn, you see there, I'm not sure if it should be working correctly. Okay. So right here, you see there's a little lag because it's processing everything, I guess. We should have access to Conceal Fire. It's gonna deal ballistic damage in a line and allow the use of Conceal Aim. So basically, once I use it, it's going to go back to Conceal Aim. And again, these persist through battle, so I can set up in one easy battle, like at the end of the battle I can set it up, and then on the next battle I can just start with that. Okay. So because it's a line and everyone's in the line, this is gonna hurt everyone. So let's see how it works. Alright. Ooh. Pretty good damage. So you take one turn off, but the damage that you do the turn after more than enough. It is more than enough to make up for that. We'll keep an eye on balance and see how that goes. If it's too much, we'll definitely tone it back up. I think that's all we need to showcase. Everything else we have talked before. Let's just check that she gets Conceal Aim back, and there it is. She can't cast it because she doesn't have enough blood. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Those are the abilities for the Malkavian character, Nicole, and I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of fun with her, same way that I did, and that came out incredibly wrong. But yep, thank you very much for watching. Next time we will get on the Toreador abilities, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.